Hey guys and gals, and welcome back to another episode of Surviving Bedrock. So we are still over here at the kelp farm from the last episode. I swear, I'm not trying to avoid doing the witch farm at all. But we kind of need to fix this because we got a whole 2 days worth of use out of this kelp farm before Mojang put this hotfix into the game and fixed the lecterns generating power thing. And I'm actually a little worried here. I'm not sure if the kelp is going to be able to grow up high enough and ruin my water flow here. So I kind of think I need to jump in here and fix this really quick. By fix this, I mean jump in there and knock out all this kelp. Let's do that really quick because I don't want to... Let me just run through here. There we go. I don't want it breaking my water sources on accident. So we're going to knock this all out first. And then we're going to come back and get through what we're actually going to work on to fix this today.
Hey, listen!
Okay, now that that's all fixed and cleared out, it doesn't look like it broke any of my water flow, which is really nice. And as you can see here, we have an illegal item. An Enderman decided to grace us with putting a flower on stone somehow. No idea how he did that, but we're leaving that. We're going to try to not have to pick that one up. This farm was pretty productive when it was working, though. If we come down here, we've got quite a bit of kelp here. And almost a full hopper there from what I just broke. But what we need to do is fix this farm. I've already got a pretty good layout for how we're going to redo this. We're going to need to reorient the pistons. And we're going to have to replace the lecterns with some observers. But we're not going to do a typical style of a kelp farm here. We're not going to have the observers looking at the kelp plant themselves. And one thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to break into here. And I already know from some random Endermen who keep stealing my dirt blocks, there's some water in here we're going to have to deal with. We're going to need to get access down here and fill that in. And we're going to need to work down here to reset these pistons. And I need to put in a viewing window down here, and that'll become apparent later. Let's make a couple quick changes here. First things first, let's put on our water tunic so we can work underwater. There we go, that's much better. And I'm sure the water breathing potion will help with that as well. Just so we're not constantly having to keep coming up from air. I decided to make up some water breathing potions. That'll come in handy. We're gonna have to come in here, and I need my axe, actually. Let's grab that out of my ender chest. Let's take up all these lecterns. We'll probably have to keep knocking out some kelp as we're going. That's gonna be in our way. So I'll do one row to show you guys what we're gonna do, and then we'll come in. So unfortunately, we were able to do this with only 32 lecterns, but we're gonna need 64 observers. There's not really a way around the way I'm going to do this, but this will still work pretty well for us. I decided not to go with observers looking at the kelp plants because the current way I have this oriented, I would have to make these rows bigger because I would have to have the observer looking at the kelp and then redstone coming out the back and then powering the piston, and I couldn't do this with just too wide in between. So what we're gonna do, let's knock out this row of pistons here. And I need to grab these before my hoppers pick them up. Did I get them all? I don't think I did. I only have 5. Well, we're gonna have to run and grab those out of the chest. I'm gonna need all those pistons. But what we need to do is we need to take up this row of stone underneath both sets of pistons. And we're gonna take our observers, and we need these looking down like that. This is much easier with a water breathing potion. Just like that. And then we can come in and put our pistons back in. So we're going to be powering these pistons from down below. Let me go fetch my pistons that went up into the hoppers, and then I'll set up these other 4 rows, and we'll show you guys what the next step is going to be. And we are getting the last 4 pieces of glass in here right now, which is perfect because our water-breathing potion just ran out. I'm just going to run around here really quick and knock some of these down a little bit lower, as they are growing pretty fast. As I said, I don't think it'll break my water flow, but I'm worried that it could. So, another reason why I want to get this fix in here really quick. But we've got all the pistons realigned, so now they're all on the same level, with observers underneath all of them with their power pointing up into the piston. And we've got this viewing window here so that when we're digging from the other side, we know exactly where we're at and where we need to dig. And it'll make it so we can see the plants growing from underneath as well. So let's get rid of that. Shouldn't need another water breathing potion, and we shouldn't need to come back in here. We can go ahead and close that up for right now. Let's head down below. I need to come in here. Let's grab... I can leave the lecterns right now. I don't need to worry about those. That's all kelp. So we need to knock out this wall and fill in the water that's in here, because we need access to the area underneath all those observers we just put in. So let me clear up this a little bit, and we'll be right back. And this is why we wanted to put the glass in, so that we would be able to see where the plants are and exactly where we need to be digging at. So now we've got this uncovered. Now we need to dig down to get access to the area underneath those observers. Okay, so now that we've got this all dug out down to about this level, we need a couple blocks below those observers. And what we actually need to do is we need to dig out the row directly below all the observers. And that's kind of why I brought this trapdoor here. What this is going to allow us to do, well, first off, we can start. And since the observers are looking down, it's going to cycle those pistons as soon as we break these blocks. Yep, I put that in the wrong spot. Let's try that again. We need it there. We need to be able to crawl under here. And we need to break all the blocks underneath these observers. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's the end right there. And we need to do this for all 4 rows. So now that we've got all these tunnels dug out underneath the observers, we're going to need to come in here, we're going to need to throw redstone dust underneath all of that. And that's what the observers are going to see in order to set off these pistons. As you can hear, as I'm placing this, the observers are seeing that, and it's pulsing the pistons. And we need to go ahead and do that for all 4 of these again. And just like that, redstone dust all in. Now we are on the last step for this, and that is going to be the clock that is going to power this, because I decided I wanted to do an etho hopper style clock that would pulse these on a regular time frame, rather than relying on the observers to watch the plant. That way we're just going to pulse them at the same time, and we've got a little bit of a different variation here. So I came across this on Reddit. I'll post the link in the description. Shout out to this user on Reddit. But this is a new variation of an etho hopper clock. It's what they coined as a copper hopper clock. And we're actually going to make our first copper bulb for this. And this is a really neat clock. I really like this because it doesn't require pistons, and it doesn't have the noise of the pistons shifting back and forth. It relies on redstone torches to power a copper bulb on and off. So we should be able to throw that together right over here. Let me grab the stuff I need out of my redstone bag. We are going to need repeaters. We are going to need comparators. No, not my clock. We need redstone torches. And that should do it. Let's see if we can get all this stuff in our hotbar. Stone, torches, comparators, repeaters. Probably need a little bit of dust still. And the copper bulb. Alright, and what we'll end up doing, I think... let's make a little bit of stone brick, because we'll put our redstone on like stone brick for out here. So actually, let me get my pickaxe back. Let's clean this up. We're gonna have lines running across there, but we'll use the stone brick. Like that. And then we're gonna need some like this. I need a little bit more stone brick. Okay. So let's start making this clock and get a little bit more stone brick for it, because I don't have any wool yet. Wool farm, probably coming soon. We want one of the redstone torches coming right up about here. So we'll start the clock. Let me get it over here. We're going to start it off right about... We'll put it right there. Okay, so let me... sure I can make this clock correctly. Redstone torch there. I'm probably going to be explaining... I need to make it from this way, because this is the way I learned how to make it. So let's start from this direction right here. We are going to need 2 blocks there and there. And we need a repeater reading out of this block right here. And we need a redstone torch on top of that block. We need a copper bulb on top of there. And we need another comparator right there. And do I have hoppers? I do. A couple hoppers. Which is, you know, what makes the hopper clock actually work. Ooh, actually, I need to push this back one. I can't have the redstone dust line coming right up alongside that, so hold on. We gotta push all of this back 1 block. So we're gonna have to start it right there. So let's go block, block there. We need a torch right there. We need the comparator coming out of this block here. We need the copper bulb again in my inventory. Right there. We need the comparator right here. We need the torch right there. We need 2 hoppers pointing into each other. Easiest way to do this, we put one down, put one into that one. Then we're going to break this guy and point it into that one. We need a block on top of that hopper with a torch there, with another comparator right there. And if I didn't screw this up, that is the whole circuit. And what's going to happen is if I just throw 8 items in really quick. These will go back and forth just like a normal hopper clock. And the copper bulb will pulse off every time the items go back and forth. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the power from this and the power from this to power 2 of the lanes. And what this is going to give us for this is when this one flickers, we'll run a line to these redstone dust. It'll only power these 2. And then when this one flickers, we'll run a line to these 2 sets of redstone dust. So we can have... let me take these out when they reach the end. There we go. So what this is going to do is going to allow us to put... I haven't timed it out exactly, but I'm going to throw in the maximum number, which is 5 stacks of items. And it'll make it so the system's got to cycle through 10 stacks, so 5 stacks twice before the whole system will cycle once. It'll cycle these 2 sides with the first 5 items, and then it'll cycle these 2 sides with the next set of 5 stacks of items. So let's go ahead and get this in here. We are going to do a repeater, and then we are just going to connect the dust. So. And then we need to connect this line up. Let me get a little bit more stone bricks. We're going to connect it. We can just connect it right to here. Go. I need to make sure that I don't run out of redstone signal either. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and then 8 is 14. I won't have enough redstone signal to reach the end here, if I'm mathing this correct. Yeah, it does not. So what we're going to do here instead, we're going to take that out. We're going to put the repeater right here. That should give us enough signal to reach the end, and if I want to verify, I can come over here and grab my trapdoor. And I can crawl in there just to make sure that all of that is lit up. I believe I am reaching the full end here. Yeah, we are. That's got power. So yeah, all we need to do is load some items into those hoppers, and we are good to go here. So let's grab, go grab our chest of items we dug out of here. Let's grab 5 stacks of probably stone, because that's what we have 5 stacks of. Right there, that would be 5 stacks. And we're just gonna throw 5 stacks in the hopper. So that pulsed the one, actually that pulsed both of them, because by putting that in there, it shut off both the torches. So now when this goes through the 5 stacks, it'll pulse, I don't know which one will go off first. Oh, and I want that to be on no delay. We'll cut back in right when this is about to be at the end of the timer, and we'll show you guys how this goes off. Okay, so we're coming on the last few items, and we're going to see what happens when this goes off. Okay, it pulsed that side right there, so this is the torch that went off that one. And what happens is, it just does a quick flicker on and off. So this is going to pulse these twice. There's no way around that, really. But it's not a big deal. And it's going to flick that redstone dust on and then immediately off. The observers see it. It shoots the pistons off. And then the items start coming back into this hopper. And then when this hopper fills up all the way, it'll pulse this torch, and then these 2 sides will go off. And we'll show you guys what that looks like in a second. Okay, so we're coming up on the last few items in here for this next one to pulse off. And we'll see, this is going to click on and off really quickly. Just like that, those pistons went off, the kelp broke and floated up. So we're going to run a timer, because I don't know the amount of time it takes for these items to go all the way through. I could probably look it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run a timer, and I'll throw the number on screen here for future me to figure out and show you guys. But whatever that time frame is, that's about how much time each side will get. So basically, the amount of time for one set of items to go through, I'm going to double that, and I'll put that on the screen. And what that's going to do is that'll tell you how much time you get between each pulse for the plants grow up pretty quickly. So I really like this method versus doing like observers looking at the plants. Like, yeah, that would pulse each piston at the time that each plant grows up, but this middle section here couldn't be too wide. It would have to be, honestly, 4 wide, because I would have to have observer, block behind the observer, redstone dust on top of that, and then piston, and then I'd have to worry about the water, because the redstone dust will get flushed away by the water. I'd have to cover that and then make sure all the water's pulled out of there. This I didn't have to do any of that. And I really like this version of a clock versus a standard etho hopper clock. I mean, granted, we've already got piston noises with these going off, but I don't have to worry about a piston pushing a redstone block back and forth. And I like that I can just take the redstone signal off of each of these 2 torches for half of the farm each. So yeah, this is our kelp farm finished and completed. We'll probably cover this over something. I don't know what I'm going to do in this downstairs area. I kind of leveled it out, made it more of a little room. We'll probably put something down here, but I haven't thought that far ahead yet. But the only thing left for me to do this episode is I need to go heal my pickaxe, because I did a lot of digging and I wore it down quite a bit. And there's a little surprise. I was going to go over to the skeleton farm. Oh, there it goes. You guys will see. We'll show you why I wanted to save this for a little later in the episode. So on our way over to the skeleton farm, we saw this little guy over here. You guys know what that is. That's not one of my horses escaped. No, I'm imagining when I was down here AFKing the kelp farm at some point. We probably had a thunderstorm. Let's have some fun with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, shall we? Must save the horses. There we go. We got 4 new skeleton horses. Maybe we'll go deliver them to Sammie and Guru. I don't think they have any skeleton horses. I know both me and Rayth have some. We haven't had much time for pranking those two. We gotta get something good going for them. But I think that's where we're gonna wrap this episode up. We'll probably deliver some of these skeleton horses to Sammie and Guru, like I said. And the next time, I promise we are going to work on the witch farm. I know I keep pushing it off, but this whole bug and then the kelp farm kind of got in the middle of it. I need to go get some leads and wrangle these horses up before they wander away too far. But guys, thanks for coming and checking out this episode. You know the drill. Hit like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. My name is Aggro, and I gotta skate. Later.
Goodbye.